Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are making cards 5 and 6 in my 2016 holiday card series. And I'll be using a stamp set from Your Next Stamp called Warm Christmas Wishes, as well as the Holly Jolly 6x6 by Pebbles. I'm going to begin by coloring my images for both cards at the same time, and I'm starting out with this little snowman mug on the right, and for him I'm using BG11 to give some shadows, and then I'm blending out with the BG10. I want him to have a nice frosty look. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and I'll just blend that in the center so that it stays nice and bright. I'm also going to take those same two colors and I'm going to color in this tiny little snowman that's floating in the teacup on the left. And I just want to make sure that I color in the inner rim of that coffee mug. And then I'm going to grab my favorite red combo, and that is the R29, R39, and R59. And since this teacup is a large area, I am working lightest to darkest. So I just laid down a little bit of the R29 and then filled in with the little R39. And now I'm using the R59 really sparingly along the edges just to give it that nice rounded appearance. And then I can color back down in the reverse with the R39 and just blend everything together really well with the R29 so that it stays nice and bright and shiny in the center, so it will look like that part is bumped out towards the viewer. And now I'm just making sure to get that handle as well as the inner rim of that coffee mug colored in. I'm starting with the shadow on the inside curve, and since this is a small area, I am working darkest to lightest now. So I'm just going to fill that all in until I have the shading how I want it. And then I'll just finish up by coloring in the saucer, and I'm going to keep the majority of that nice and bright, and then I'm just going to darken up the lower portion right on the outside rim just to give that a little bit of dimension. While I have my reds out, I want to go ahead and color anything else that's going to be red. So I'm going to just add a little bit of shading to my candy cane with the C3, and then I can fill in the red portions with my R29. And I'm not going to bother shading those red portions, it's so tiny. And I'm also going to color in my little holly berries, and I will just a touch of R39 where those two berries behind are overlapping. For all of my green images, I'm using YG05, YG07, and YG09, and since all of these are little tiny images, I am coloring darkest to lightest. So I started with the YG09 and then just added a little YG07 to blend that out, and then finishing with the YG05 for my highlight. I use YR07 for both of the little carrot noses. I wanted my little snowman in the teacup to look like he was made out of candy. So I colored his hat to look like chocolate using the E44, E47, and E49. And I'm also going to use that E44 to color in the broom handle. I'm also going to use those same three shades to be the coffee in my snowman mug, but I'm just going to vary it a little bit by using less of the E49 and E47 and a little bit more of the E44 in the center so that it takes on a different color than the chocolate hat. I wanted these spoons to be like those wooden spoons that you sometimes get with the ends dipped in kind of like a rock candy. So I'm coloring the spoons to look like wood with the E31 and the E33. And then I'm going to add the E35 and make that a latte in the little teacup there, or it could be tea, whichever one. So I'll just use those same colors, but just adding that E35 and then using that E31 to finish filling in the little broom. And then I'm going to bump up that color a notch and use the E37, E35, and E33 to color in my little gingerbread man. So all that's left to color is the scarf and handle of my snowman mug, and I wanted that to be a striped scarf with a bunch of different colors. So I'm starting out with the BG18 and the BG15, and I'm just blocking in every fourth segment there with that blue and making sure to fill in the ends on the scarf as well. And then next to the blue, I'm coloring in green with the YG07 and the YG09. For the red, I'm using R29 and R39, and I'm coloring those right next to the green. And then I'm going to fill in the remaining portions with pink using RV13 and RV14, and I thought this just made a really nice, fun, bright scarf. So I die cut those images out with the matching dies, and now I'm going to go ahead and assemble my cards. I'm going to be making the cards in the exact same layout but different color schemes and different pattern papers. So I'm starting out with this pattern paper with these adorable little pajamas and some mugs and cookies. And I'm matting that on some blue MFT snow cone cardstock. I'm actually going to mat all of my layers for just a different look this time. And I'm using my Tombow Mono Multi Glue because I really like that I can wiggle it around and make sure that I get it nice and straight before I press it down and that glue sets. So now I can adhere my first panel down to my card base, which is MFT's Hot Fudge cardstock, folded to a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 portrait style card. And then all my layers are just 1/4 of an inch smaller, so the blue is 1/4 inch smaller than the card base, and then the pattern paper is 1/4 inch smaller than the blue. I'm popping up my focal panel with some Scotch 3M foam tape. I buy it on a big giant roll from Amazon. And there you can see the second card that I made identically in the layout, but it just has a different color scheme with different cardstock and pattern paper. And now I'm taking my Sentiment Warm Christmas Wishes, and I've stamped that out in some Lawn Fawn Lobster ink, and I'm just going to flag those ends. And then I'm going to glue down that sentiment banner towards the bottom of that circle, and I'm going to add my little image here right over top. And I've already gone ahead and glued that little candy cane down to it, just where I wanted it there on the edge. And then I'm going to also glue down the sentiment banner on the second card, and this time I'm placing it just a little bit higher up than the first one because the teacup image is smaller than the snowman mug, so that will just help with the balance so that there's not too much space at the top of that circle above the teacup. I'm going to add my little holly berries right on top of the teacup on the left, and then I'll add my little rock candy spoon on the right side there, just making sure that that's secure. I'm using my Spectrum Noir glitter pen to add a little bit of shimmer to the candy cane and the handle and the scarf on the snowman mug, and also on the gingerbread man. And then I'm also going to use it on the leaves of the holly and the snowman's hat. And then I'm taking some rock candy distress stickles, and when this stuff dries it kind of looks like sugar, so I thought that would be perfect for my little rock candy Christmas trees on the ends of my spoons. And then I'm going to take some glossy accents and I'm going to dot some over the eyes of the snowman and the nose and the candy cane. And then on the other card, I'm going to add it to the holly berries, and then a tiny, tiny little bit to the other snowman's nose and eyes, just to make them shine. And that is going to complete cards number 5 and 6 in my 2016 holiday card series. I hope you guys are really enjoying it. I've got lots more cards to go, so stay tuned for those, and thank you so much for watching. If you missed last year's day 5 in my 2015 card series, it's on screen right now. You can just click the little video clip and it'll take you right to it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.